Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I'm still figuring out the lighting. The light comes in differently in this apartment than I did in my apartment in New York, but I'm here with a video that I have not done in a very long time, and that is a TBR. And that's because I'm such a mood reader that I often don't have set TBRs, and when I do, I pretty much ignore them. I make them for fun. To quote my friend Jana, TBRs are for saying out loud for fun, not for actually sticking to. But I want to talk about some of the books that I'm prioritizing next month because I actually am really excited for it. If you can't see the pretty much empty bookshelf behind me, I don't have 90% of my physical library with me. So with that said, I'm trying to be realistic because this is such a time of transition for me that reading isn't always a top priority as I settle into this version of my life. So I have about 8 books to show you all. But the beautiful thing about not having my entire TBR is that I can read a good chunk of what I own, get rid of what I don't want, and then when I bring down some of my other books, it's like my TBR is consistently going down. Smaller sample size. So let's jump in. One of the first books that I'm planning to read this August is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This is a story about a woman named Eileen. She is a professor of literature, I believe, and she has this series that she absolutely loves. And one day she is on her way to a convention. Okay. My neighbor has a race car and he likes to gun it sometimes. Anyway, she is driving to this convention and she ends up, like, her car breaks down in this very, very small town. And she really quickly realizes that this town is a little strange. It's like straight out of a novel. Literally, because it is straight out of a novel. She is now stuck in this little fictional town in this world, and there is a man who owns a bookstore who I think has some sense of what's going on, and it is their love story. Ashley Poston always has some kind of speculative element to her romances, which I tend to really enjoy. It appeals to that part of me that really loves paranormal romance. Are my glasses causing issues? I'm gonna take those off. I don't particularly like having them off, but I think that they're reflecting the sun a little bit too much. With that said, I'm a little bit nervous because even people who have loved Ashley Poston's other books have been saying this one's really bad. So I'm hopeful that it's not really bad, but if it is, I guess it's one book off of my TBR, but I'm cautiously optimistic. The next book I have is Cross the Line. This is actually an Illumicrate special edition. I signed up for Illumicrate, the Afterlight box, specifically to get this.
I'm gonna cancel that shit though, because shipping is fucking expensive. It's like $20 and the book is like $20.
Anyway, besties, Cross the Line is the story about this man who is an F1 race car driver, and he gets into a little bit of trouble. He's having some issues with his publicity, and that introduces us to our heroine of this story, who has recently graduated. She is a social media expert manager, and they have to team up to kind of save their reputation or save his reputation, and it is their love story. I'm cautious about this one just because I've never read from this author before, but I do enjoy sports romances, so I hope that I enjoy this. I just hope that it's not going to feel younger than what it is. I'm really hoping that it doesn't feel like a college romance because, as you all know, I don't like college romances. This isn't a college romance, but she recently graduated, so I'm like, please don't do it to me. But she's pretty, she's real cute and all. Another favorite author for me because I'm here with Miss Abby Jimenez, who wrote Just for the Summer. This is her most recent release, and in the story we have 2 people who believe they are cursed in love because every time they've broken up with their partner, that partner has then gone on to find the love of their life, and they end up just venting about this on this online forum, and that's how they meet each other. And they say, you know what, here's how we're going to break the curse. We're going to date each other, and it's going to cancel it out so that when we break up with each other, we'll go off to find the loves of our lives. And they have very different expectations for what this will look like, so they're going to be together just for the summer. That premise sounds very funny, but I've actually heard many of Abby Jimenez's most recent releases. This one has a lot of heaviness and sadness because there's just situations that are going on. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. If you've heard anybody talk about this book, you'll know some of the general things, but I try to erase that from my mind so that I can go in with a blank slate. But I will be reading this in August, and you can look forward to my thoughts in my August wrap up. I will be very honest with you. I had no intentions of ever reading this, but then I was on Riley's Discord and I saw how much she loved it, and I was like, okay, Riley, you've convinced me that I will read this. So this is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Yes, it is the cartoon cover because that is what it switched to, and yes, it does have this ugly thing that's not actually a sticker, but it's fine. It's fine. This chunker of a book, it is a slow burn romance. It is about this woman who rents like a room on Airbnb, this kind of apartment over somebody's garage, just as she's like moving through her life. She's transitioning to something, I don't know. And she gets there and she realizes that it was actually the son of the man who owns this that rented it out to her, and he had no idea that his son did this, but she has nowhere to go, so he agrees to let her stay. And it's like Grumpy Sunshine, I believe. It is their love story. As I mentioned, it's slow burn. Mariana Zapata is often thought of as the queen of the slow burn. I am a little bit of an insta-love girly, so we'll see how this works for me, but I'm really hopeful that I adore it. I'm hoping that it's 5 stars. The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. Another Riley favorite, but this one was already on my radar. This is a cozy sapphic fantasy romance. And in this story, we have I want to say young woman who is the Honey Witch. Her grandmother and her family has always had this legacy, and her family is like trying to force her to get married, and she's like, I'm not fucking into that. And her grandmother shows up and said, actually, I'm going to take you to this island and you can be the Honey Witch, and here's like your training and what you do and what the Honey Witch does. And the catch is that she can go live the life that she wants to live on this island, but the Honey Witch is cursed and that she'll never be able to fall in love, or people won't fall for her. So she's on this island living her life, and then we have this kind of, I think she's a little bit goth, and she just doesn't believe in magic. She's like, no, this is bullshit, I don't believe you. And the Honey Witch sets out to prove that magic is real, and they fall in love. I know this has mixed opinions, but I'm not going in with super high expectations. If it is a slow, cozy, sapphic fantasy like it says it is, then I'm gonna enjoy it. Hold your applause, besties, because yes, it's time. I'm finally reading the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I will actually be listening to this on Spotify, but I did purchase the matching edition because I have the special edition from Fairy Loot for the first book, and I purchased a matching one because I just loved the first book so much. In this one, we are once again with Emily and her academic rival Wendell as they navigate the fairylands, and they navigate the landscape of the fairylands, and Emily continues her research. I can't say too much here because it is the sequel to the first book, and like I would spoil some very big things if I even told you a little bit beyond that, but I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait for the romantic elements in here. I think these characters are so much fun, and the first book is just such a favorite for me that I'm hoping my expectations aren't too high for this one, but I have no way of knowing. But genuinely, looking forward to it. And then I have a book that I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway, my first one ever. This is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is a story about a woman who is an artist and a man who is a billionaire because his family owns a grocery chain. And in college, they got married to get like family housing, which was cheaper, and then they kind of went their separate ways. But what the artist doesn't know, she believes they got divorced. What she doesn't know is that they never officially got divorced, and now our hero is up for an inheritance, but we all know how this goes. He needs to have a partner in order to get that money and become like the heir of this legacy. So he reaches back out to his wife and says, hey, I have an offer for you. I have a situation for you. And of course, it is marriage of convenience. It's a fun premise because they have been married for many years. You know, I'll hold my thoughts on the fact that she doesn't know that they've been married for many years, but I've seen a lot of people really enjoy this. But I've also seen the people who loved the Unhoneymooners loved this, and I hated the Unhoneymooners, so I'm hoping that I'm going to love this for different reasons, because It's so pretty, and the premise sounds like so much fun. But again, you'll hear my full thoughts in my August wrap up. And finally, besties, the final book that I'm planning to get to this August is Slewfoot by Brahm. Now, this book has very beautiful illustrations, and if you are not new here, you will know that I've actually previously attempted to read Slewfoot and then DNF'd it because the misogyny and sexism and just toxic levels of the patriarchy in this book was triggering the absolute fuck out of me. But I know that this girl, you know, she gets her revenge at some point. So I'm excited to get back into this. I know it's a favorite for so many people. This is a story set in 1600s America during the time of the witch trials. And we have our main female character who is married to like this farmer. They're pretty poor, but she's happy with her husband. He's very lenient with her and allows her to just really be herself. And his brother thinks that he should actually have all the money, and he's genuinely just a fucking terrible person. Her husband dies under very mysterious circumstances, and now she has a massive debt that she owes to her brother-in-law, and she ends up encountering this creature named Slewfoot in the woods, and she doesn't know what this creature is, but they become friends, and maybe he's a devil, you know? Maybe he's a devil.
So what?
So what?
Yes, so what if he's the devil, Rick? At least the devil has a job. At least he's active in the community.
We have no idea of knowing, but you know what? He supports women's rights and women's wrongs, and I'm excited because this woman's wrongs, she deserves her revenge. She does, and I can't wait to read it. So with that said, besties, that does bring us to the end of this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books in the comments below. If you've gotten to the end of this video and you want to let me know that you've gotten to the end of this video, you can leave me the little sunshine emoji since it's a cloudy day and I am missing the sun as I am recording this. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who is new here and everyone who has been here for a long time. I am so close to hitting my goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed and you like my content and my videos, then please make sure you do. I make every possible effort to post every single Sunday and Wednesday, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye!